brushing your teeth too hard. A shocking number of adults brush their teeth like they're scrubbing kitchen tiles. Somewhere growing up, we absorbed the same lie. Brushing harder equals cleaner teeth, but it actually just means louder brushing, a better arm workout, and future teeth regrets. Your teeth are covered in enamel, which is the hardest substance in your body, but it can still be damaged. When you brush too hard, you slowly grind that enamel down over the years. As it thins, the softer layers underneath your enamel start reacting to cold water, hot coffee, and anything remotely sweet. Meanwhile, your soft and delicate gums get pushed backward. That's called receding gums, and they never grow back once it happens. Dentists call this damage toothbrush abrasion. Things get even worse if you brush right after acidic foods. Acid softens enamel, so brushing immediately is like scrubbing your kitchen with bleach. Dentists recommend waiting about 30 minutes. The trick to having healthy teeth that last forever is to use soft bristles and gentle pressure. Think of brushing your teeth like a face massage instead of sanding your pearly whites. Multitasking everything. Somehow, multitasking got rebranded as a superpower and not a warning label. If you felt proud about cooking while texting, only to burn your dinner and text your grandma something embarrassing. Here's the tough truth. Your brain can't actually do multiple complex things at once. What it does instead is bounce rapidly between different tasks. Cutting vegetables, texting, heating up the oven, avoiding emails about late payments. The constant switching burns time, energy, and accuracy. Psychologists call this task switching, and it can slow you down by up to 40% because refocusing takes work. Brain scans show multitaskers use more mental effort to get less done. Stress hormones, like cortisol, spike. Your attention gets worse over time, and your brain becomes jumpier even when you're trying to focus on just one thing. The drop in IQ is even similar to losing one night's sleep when you're multitasking. That's the cruel part. Multitasking feels like efficiency while quietly sabotaging your attention. The fix is boring but effective. Monotasking. Focus on one task with full attention within a time block. Finish the item, then move on. You'll work faster, make fewer mistakes, and feel less fried. Drinking diet soda for weight loss. It can feel like you've hacked the problem of gaining weight by drinking something sweet with no calories or sugar. But don't be fooled by the marketing of diet drinks. When you drink something sweet, your brain assumes calories are coming. But when that sweetness shows up without the energy, your body gets confused. The mismatch can crank up cravings and hunger later, because your body starts looking elsewhere for the energy it was promised. Some people end up eating more overall, mentally spending the calories they think they saved with the drink. Studies have even found that people who switch to diet soda sometimes consume more total calories than those who drank regular soda. Artificial sweeteners can also mess with insulin and gut bacteria, both of which play big roles in weight regulation. And while the research is still evolving, large population studies consistently link high diet soda intake with weight gain, metabolic issues, and increased diabetes risk. Not exactly the solutions diet soda promised. Next time when you're craving diet soda, try sparkling water or unsweetened tea. Add citrus, herbs, or a splash of real juice if you need flavor. Treat diet soda like a dessert and not a strategy. Remember, 0 calories doesn't always mean 0 consequences. Overloading on vitamins and supplements. It's easy to think vitamins are a free upgrade. They're sold next to protein bars and electrolyte packs. They don't require prescriptions, and the labels make it sound like more pills equal more health. So people stack multivitamins, gummies, fortified drinks, and extra capsules thinking this is the answer to healthy living. The problem is that nutrients don't work like bonus points. Your body needs them within a narrow range. Too little causes problems, but too much can cause different, sometimes worse ones. Some vitamins dissolve in water, and excess gets flushed out in your pee, while others stick around. Fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, and E accumulate in your body, especially in the liver and fat tissue. Taken in high doses over time, they can quietly build up to toxic levels. That's how excess vitamin A damages the liver and bones. Too much vitamin D drives calcium into places it doesn't belong, and high-dose vitamin B6 can slowly injure nerves. Minerals follow the same rule. Iron, calcium, copper are essential in the right amount and harmful in excess. Taking them without a real need can strain the liver, kidneys, heart, or throw other nutrients out of balance. This happens more often than people realize, because fortified foods plus supplements can easily push intake well beyond daily recommended doses. A better approach is simpler. Use supplements only when there's a reason, confirmed deficiency, medical guidance, or a specific need. Get most nutrients from food, where doses are naturally balanced. And remember, Supplements aren't harmless just because they're sold over the counter. Overusing antibacterial soap and hand sanitizer. It's easy to slip into the mindset that cleaner always means safer. If germs are bad, then nuking every surface and sanitizing your hands every 5 minutes must be even better, especially after the pandemic trained us all to carry hand sanitizer like a security blanket. The issue is that your skin isn't meant to be sterile. Regular soap and water already do an excellent job of removing germs by lifting them off your skin and rinsing them away. Antibacterial soaps and constant sanitizer use don't add much protection in everyday life, but they do add extra damage. Harsh chemicals and alcohol strip away natural oils and beneficial microbes, leaving skin dry, cracked, and irritated. Those tiny cracks actually make it easier for pathogens to get in, not harder. Your skin also has its own microbiome, a community of good bacteria that help crowd out harmful ones and keep your skin barrier strong. When you repeatedly wipe everything out, you don't just remove the bad guys, you remove your own defenders. Over time, this can increase irritation, eczema, and even allow tougher, more resilient microbes to take over. That's one reason the FDA banned ingredients like triclosan from consumer soaps. They weren't better than plain soap and came with real risks. A healthier approach is moderation. Use plain soap and water for routine hand washing. Save sanitizer for situations where you don't have access to a sink or you're in a higher risk environment. Moisturize if you wash often. Clean your home normally, not like an operating room. Clean hands matter, but you don't need to napalm every microbe on your hands to stay healthy. Over-exercising without rest. It's easy to believe that the more you exercise, the more fit and healthier you'll be. Why take a rest or maintenance day when you could be reaching for a new PR? Pushing through soreness, fatigue, and bad sleep can feel like discipline, especially in a culture that glorifies no days off. The problem is that exercise works by stressing your body, not by magically making it stronger on its own. Every workout creates tiny injuries in your muscles, drains energy stores, and taxes your nervous system. Strength, endurance, and fitness only improve afterward, when your body has time to repair that damage. If you don't give it that time, you're just breaking things down faster than they can be rebuilt. When rest is missing, stress hormones like cortisol stay elevated. That can interfere with sleep, weaken your immune system, and leave you feeling wired but exhausted. Performance often starts going backwards. You feel slower, weaker, and sore all the time despite training more. Over time, this can turn into overtraining syndrome with chronic fatigue, frequent injuries, mood changes, and in some cases, heart rhythm issues or hormonal disruptions. What works better is treating recovery as part of the plan. Build in rest days. Rotate hard workouts with easier ones. Get enough sleep. Eat enough to support your activity. These aren't signs of laziness. They're what allow your body to build strength and endurance. Skipping sleep. Sleep has somehow been framed as optional, something you do after finishing a Netflix series, answering emails, and when scrolling finally stops. A lot of people wear short sleep like a badge of honor, convinced that squeezing the night gives them more hours of productivity. In reality, cutting sleep short quietly sabotages almost everything your body is trying to do. Sleep isn't downtime, it's maintenance. When you don't get enough of it, your brain and body don't finish their nightly reset. Stress hormones stay high. Appetite hormones get scrambled. Repair work gets skipped. The result is foggier thinking, worse mood, slower reactions, and stronger cravings the next day. Over time, the damage stacks up. Chronic sleep deprivation is linked to weight gain, insulin resistance, high blood pressure, heart disease, weakened immunity, and cognitive decline. Your brain clears metabolic waste during deep sleep, including proteins associated with Alzheimer's disease. Miss enough sleep consistently, and that cleanup never fully happens. Your immune system also suffers, which is why people who sleep less get sick more often and take longer to recover. The fix isn't extreme. It's boring and effective. Aim for 7 to 9 hours most nights. Keep a consistent sleep schedule. Protect your wind-down time like it matters, because it does. Sleep isn't stealing time from your life. It's the thing that makes the rest of it work. Cleaning your ears with Q-tips. Using a Q-tip in your ear feels productive. There's resistance, there's payoff, and afterward it feels cleaner, so it's easy to assume this is basic hygiene. For a lot of people, it's as automatic as brushing their teeth. The problem is that earwax isn't dirt, and your ears aren't meant to be cleaned from the inside. Earwax, or cerumen, is a protective substance. It traps dust and microbes, keeps the ear canal slightly acidic, and slowly moves outward on its own as you chew and talk. That migration is deliberate. It's the ear's self-cleaning system. When you insert a Q-tip, you usually don't remove wax. You push it deeper. Over time, that packs wax against the eardrum, leading to blockage, muffled hearing, pressure, and pain. On top of that, the ear canal skin is extremely delicate. Even gentle swabbing can cause tiny abrasions, which increases the risk of infection. In worse cases, a slip or sudden movement can perforate the eardrum, causing hearing loss, vertigo, or permanent damage. Ironically, frequent swabbing can make wax problems worse. Removing wax too aggressively signals the ear to produce more, creating a cycle of buildup and cleaning that never resolves. What works instead is much simpler. Clean only the outer ear, the part you can see. Let wax migrate out naturally. If wax truly builds up or affects hearing, softening drops or professional removal are far safer options. Your ears aren't dirty, they're self-maintaining, and Q-tips mostly just get in the way. Overusing mouthwash. Mouthwash feels like the final piece of armor of oral hygiene. You brush, you floss, then you swish something aggressively minty that makes your mouth tingle. And it feels like proof that everything is extra clean. The issue is that your mouth isn't supposed to be sterilized. It has its own ecosystem of bacteria, and not all of them are bad. Some of those bacteria help control odor, protect your teeth, and even support things like blood vessel function. Strong antiseptic mouthwashes don't discriminate. They wipe out problem bacteria and the helpful ones too, especially when used multiple times a day. That imbalance can backfire. Alcohol-based mouthwashes dry out your mouth, and less saliva means worse breath and higher cavity risk. On top of that, research suggests frequent use of antiseptic mouthwash may interfere with bacteria involved in nitric oxide production, a molecule that helps regulate blood pressure and insulin sensitivity. Large studies have found that people who use mouthwash twice or more daily have higher risks of elevated blood pressure and type 2 diabetes. Not exactly what you're aiming for when you're chasing fresh. Overuse can also irritate the lining of your mouth, cause burning or ulcers, and even undo some benefits of brushing if you rinse immediately afterward and wash away fluoride. What works better is restraint. Brush twice a day with fluoride toothpaste. Floss daily. If you use mouthwash, choose alcohol-free and use it occasionally or at a different time than brushing. Hydration and tongue cleaning help breath far more than constant antiseptic rinsing. No fat diets. For a long time, fat was treated like the villain of the grocery store. If a label said low fat or fat-free, it automatically felt healthier, even if it tasted like disappointment. So people cut out nuts, avocados, olive oil, egg yolks, anything with fat, thinking that less fat meant better health. The problem is that fat isn't optional. Your body needs it to function. Dietary fat helps you absorb vitamins A, D, E, and K, supports hormone production, keeps your cell membranes intact, and helps you feel full after meals. When fat disappears, something else usually takes its place, and it's often refined carbs or added sugar. That's how the low-fat craze quietly turned into a high-sugar era, with people overeating fat-free snacks and wondering why nothing improved. Research has made this pretty clear. Cutting total fat alone doesn't reduce heart disease or guarantee weight loss. What matters is which fats you eat. Diets that include healthy fats, like olive oil, nuts, fish, and avocados, are consistently linked to better heart health, improved cholesterol profiles, and better blood sugar control. Meanwhile, ultra-low-fat diets can leave people hungrier, low on key nutrients, and stuck in a cycle of snacking. A smarter approach is balance. Keep trans fats out and limit excessive saturated fat, but include healthy fats on purpose. Use real oil on salads. Eat nuts. Don't fear whole foods because of one macronutrient. Fat isn't the enemy. Cutting it blindly just pushes your diet in the wrong direction. Eating too fast. Eating quickly has become weirdly normal. Meals get squeezed between meetings, eaten over keyboards, or finished in the car before the next obligation. If the plate is empty in 5 minutes, it can feel efficient, like you've optimized yet another part of your day, but your body doesn't experience it that way. Digestion starts in the mouth, not the stomach. Chewing breaks food down and mixes it with saliva, which contains enzymes that help digestion begin smoothly. When food is barely chewed and swallowed in large chunks, the stomach has to work harder, often leading to bloating, gas, and discomfort. At the same time, your brain hasn't caught up yet. Fullness signals take roughly 20 minutes to register, so when you eat fast, it's easy to overshoot before your body has a chance to say that's enough. This is why faster eating is consistently linked to higher calorie intake, weight gain, and acid reflux. People who eat quickly tend to feel less satisfied and get hungry again sooner, even after eating the same amount of food. Distracted eating makes this worse. When your attention is on a screen instead of the meal, your brain doesn't fully register what you ate, which can lead to more snacking later. Slowing down changes the equation. Eating at a relaxed pace allows satiety hormones to rise properly, improves digestion, and increases enjoyment. Simple habits help. Sit down, minimize distractions, take smaller bites, chew more, and put utensils down between bites. Food isn't something to get through. When you slow down, your body finally gets a chance to catch up with your plate. Doomscrolling the news. Staying informed sounds like a responsible habit. Knowing what's happening in the world feels important, especially when headlines are constant and your phone makes them impossible to ignore. So scrolling becomes a reflex. One more article, one more update, just to keep up. The problem is that your brain isn't built for nonstop crisis input. Doomscrolling keeps your nervous system stuck in threat detection mode. Every alarming headline activates stress responses meant for immediate danger, even when the events are far away and completely out of your control. Over time, that constant activation raises anxiety, disrupts sleep, and leaves you feeling tense, helpless, or emotionally drained. Research backs this up. Heavy exposure to negative news is linked to higher stress hormones, worse mood, poorer sleep, and even physical symptoms like headaches, muscle tension, and stomach issues. People who consume large amounts of distressing news also report lower life satisfaction and greater feelings of dread. Add in late-night scrolling, and you're stacking emotional stress on top of blue light and mental stimulation. Perfect conditions for insomnia. The irony is that doomscrolling doesn't actually make you more prepared or effective. It often replaces real rest, movement, and connection with passive anxiety. A healthier approach is setting boundaries. Check the news deliberately, not constantly. Avoid it first thing in the morning and right before bed. Curate your feed. Replace endless scrolling with something grounding, movement, conversation, or quiet time. If you like this video and want to learn more about the human body, check out these other videos.